Now, I'm definitely not someone who thinks you really need to reinvent your entire closet every new season. I do think autumn or fall is probably the best time of the year just to have a bit of fun with your style. Try something new, experiment a little, maybe layer slightly differently, play with interesting textures, even try out new silhouettes or new colors. As we move into the colder seasons, around this time of year, I always make sure to do a little check-in with my wardrobe. What are some of the pieces I really love, or maybe some I just haven't worn in a while? To really consider how I'm currently dressing and where I want to take my personal style moving forward. Not in a I need to throw everything out and start over again kind of way, more so let's evolve things. And a great way to supplement that is knowing what's happening or what's currently trending in the fashion world. Trends, whether directly or indirectly, can inspire you in so many different ways you may have never even considered. But today we're going to be talking all of the most interesting men's fashion trends for fall/winter 2025. I'm back at the desk today with my PC and a cup of tea because trust me, this is going to be a long. I'll do my best to link everything I talk about in the description, and if you enjoy or find this video helpful, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe too. We recently hit 17,000 subs, which is just crazy. Thank you so much for all your support, and trust me, I want that 20k so badly. I'm not stopping anytime soon. Right, let's begin. As with all my other trends videos, I think we'll start with outerwear here, as it is my favorite, and I mean, everyone needs some good reliable outerwear for this time of year, don't you? So with that being said, I think the main outerwear piece we're going to be seeing this year in fall are leather jackets. Now, I know you're probably sat there thinking, Brian, leather jackets are always going to look good and they're always going to be a great option for the colder months, to which I would say, yeah, you're correct. This year though, leather seems to be having a really big moment, and leather jackets are going to be a part of that. And to be clear, I'm not really talking about the Shop Perfecto style biker leather jackets with all the zips and pockets and panels. Pretty much all of the jackets have one thing in common, and that is that they're pretty minimally designed. Something loosely inspired by the Carhartt Detroit, just in a beautiful leather construction. For me, this really seems to be an evolution of the workwear trend that has just persisted for the past few years. And whilst a lot of people, me included, do love their canvas workwear jackets, they're just looking for new and fresh feeling interpretations without changing the silhouette. I have to say, these I think are so incredible. I'm definitely on the hunt for one myself. I've never really liked the heavily designed biker style leather jackets, and I do feel sometimes I lean away from my Carhartt Detroit because I'm worried it might rain or something and I might accidentally mark the canvas. I definitely could have gone for something that marks a little bit less, obviously, so it is kind of my fault for buying it in beige in the first place. So it has something similar in shape and styling possibilities, much more abrasive and just more weather resistant, seems perfect. In terms of brands, I mean, definitely check up on your favorite because they are probably doing well. The most popular ones I've seen online though are from Australian brand Mutable. These just look so amazing, and a big reason as to why they're the most popular is because they're actually surprisingly affordable. A good leather jacket quite often starts at £500, £600, £700, so to see these at well under 300 is always unbelievable, to be honest. If any of you guys watching has one of these, I would love to hear your thoughts on them. If you're after a good leather jacket though, be prepared to either spend a lot of cash or a lot of time searching for a good one on the second-hand market. The next notable 2025 fall-winter jacket trend are wax jackets. I've seen so many content creators talking about these, and again, so many brands are releasing their own version. Barbour is of course the brand that everyone knows and loves when it comes to wax jackets, and they have so many great options. Notable models include the Ashby, the Beaufort, and the Bedale, but a different model I've rapidly seen growing in popularity is the transport jacket. This was a pretty rare model from the 90s that Barbour's recently reissued, and it is very sought after right now, and I'm sure you'll be able to see why. Mainly because of this modern feeling silhouette, more cropped, more boxing shaped than their other models, with a cleaner pared back design. Barbour jackets in general are more known to be workwear than fashion pieces, but this model does kind of lean the other way, and it fits perfectly into the current trend of cropped outerwear. This would really be a great option if you love that very quintessential Barbour look and feel, but want something that isn't so British Dairy Farm. The main one I have my eye on though is one that's releasing this Thursday, and it is this absolutely stunning Type 2 wax trucker jacket from the Levi's and Barbour collab. Man, this is just so sick, I really hope I can grab it. Similarly with leather jackets, it really seems that the most trendy silhouettes for fall 2025 is not really going to change much at all. Still going to be very cropped, very boxy in shape, just more so an evolution of the fabrics. Okay, last little jacket trend I wanted to mention was this very strange high collar / turning up your collar on your jacket trend. This really seems to be plaguing every Instagram lookbook I see at the moment. I first saw it mentioned about a month ago and just sort of gave myself a mental note to remind myself that this could be a trend, and now I've told you, you will see it everywhere as well. I have a very love-hate relationship with this. I guess my question is why? I just don't really get it. I love a jacket with a throat flap or a high collar as much as the next guy, but stuff like this just really confuses me. To me, it just doesn't really do anything for an outfit. It really just looks like you've put it on in a rush and you just haven't noticed. And also, why now? These same jackets have always had collars on, so why has no one been doing it the past couple of years and suddenly everyone and every brand is doing it now? To me, it kind of feels like a term I've coined called a desperation trend, when there's not really that much new coming to fashion when it has one of these big seasonal shifts. People are so desperate to do something unique or just look a bit different with their style, they always end up doing stuff like this. And now, ironically, that every brand is doing this, it doesn't really feel unique at all. I don't know if you guys remember the trend that sort of went around late last year and early this year of like half wearing your hoodies and knits with like one arm out and one arm in. To me, this has very similar levels of shallow feeling. I guess for me, it can very easily look unintentional, which is the exact opposite of everything I look for in my own style. But yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this one. Similar to jacket collars being learned out, I've also seen a lot more collar layering when it comes to shirting. Shirting, I think, will definitely continue to be super popular going into fall and winter, really just continuing on from what we saw in the summer, just now adapted and styled for a colder climate. Lots of collars peeking over knits, and just in general, a lot of guys seem to be playing around and just trying new things when it comes to shirting. I've seen them used very classically as mid layers in between a tee and a jacket. This I think looks really great and it adds a nice bit of interest, but I've also seen a lot of people tying shirts around their waist like a mid-2000s schoolboy. I say that because I used to do this when I was in school in the mid-2000s. Did it look good then? No. Does it look good now? Also no, I mean, at least to me. Shirting definitely has come a long way in the last few years. Before, it was really only reserved for stuffy office wear, bar the odd reliable flannel shirt, of course. But now it really seems that t-shirts and things like that aren't really the only option for a lot of well-dressed guys heading into 2026. If you're after a few good shirting options yourself, I highly recommend checking out the trio of recent Uniqlo designer collabs. All of them have some amazing shirting options for a great price. But again, definitely check out your favorite smaller independent brands too. These guys are also really well tapped in and will likely have some good options too. Speaking of base layer options, another trend that really seems to be garnering a lot of attention right now, waffle tees or waffle thermals, whatever you want to call them. Now, what really makes these shine over your typical long sleeve jersey tee is this lovely waffle texture. Fall really is the season for texture, so it feels really appropriate right now, and it is a nice switcher. These little waffle squares also create tiny little air pockets that help retain a lot more heat over something like a typical jersey fabric. I definitely saw these more in the early transitionary period from summer going into fall, but the really great thing about these is that they're a decent option throughout all of fall heading into winter and probably a lot of spring too. Thermals for a long time have been a bit of a cheat code for dressing well in the colder months. Say if you don't like a lot of layering, or maybe like me, you just refuse to give up a lot of your summer wardrobe. I am yet to grab one of these myself, but I do really like how they look and I probably will suit. I'm all for a bit of texture in my outfits and I love how practical they are no matter the temperature. Main one I've been looking at is this one from Abercrombie. It does look lovely, it's made of 100% cotton too, but it is 45 quid, which I don't know, it just seems a little bit steep for me. I did actually see a few weeks ago James recommending one he grabbed off Amazon, I think for 15 quid. I obviously can't speak for the quality of it myself. I will say it did look really great on him, so I might try and grab it and let you guys know my thoughts. Lastly, for torso layers, I just quickly want to talk about the rise of Henleys, and this is another one that kind of confuses me, to be honest. I always just associate Henleys with early, awful menswear YouTube content. I'm sure you guys know who I mean, and so I kind of always mentally wrote them off and still admittedly have some reservations toward them. But realistically, again, similar to the collar trend, I just don't think they do that much for an outfit. It feels like another insubstantial, kind of shallow micro trend that no one will really care about this time next year, or even in a few months' time, to be honest. What's way more interesting to me is really how they've come about. And I think it's mainly to do with the broader shift towards slimmer fitting tops we've seen just all of this year. Their growing popularity kind of terrifies me, to be honest. That will soon be back to not just slim fitting tops, but all types of slim fit clothing, including a certain item that I shall not be naming for fear of speaking it into existence. Henleys, yeah, they're alright, I guess. I do think the way people are styling them now is way better than when I first came across them. At the end of the day, they're really nothing crazy. It's just a slightly different base layer option. I have seen quite a few waffle knit Henleys that I could get behind. Personally, I still opt for a simple crew neck just for something a bit more classic and a bit more versatile. Okay, moving on to legwear now, and the first trend I've seen in this space is definitely pleated wide cut denim. Last year, of course, we had the barrel leg denim trend. This year, though, the cuts are definitely returning to something a bit more traditional, straight down the leg with added front pleats just for a little bit of extra detail. These have definitely been a slow bubbling trend, like I mentioned, for the past couple of years. I remember I reviewed a pair in the summer last year, and of course I grabbed myself a pair about a month ago from the Uniqlo C collaboration, and I've been absolutely loving them. In terms of formality, they sit quite interestingly between denim and smart trousers. I'd definitely say they're more elevated than your typical pair of jeans, but the wash and the denim fabric allows them to still work casually. Quite subtle, but will still be noticed and appreciated by people into fashion for sure, and I do really like how versatile they are. Feeling just a bit more structured and refined than your typical pair of jeans, but without all of that formality that pleated trousers sometimes bring. Now obviously, are they really that much different from your typical pair of denim? No, you'll be totally fine wearing all of your favorite pairs you already have in your wardrobe this fall, but I will say it does feel pretty fresh, and if you're someone like me who loves classic pieces with modern twists, they're a nice switch up, and I do think they modernize my denim collection just a little bit. These pleated denim jeans are actually a smaller part of a larger overarching trend happening in legwear. I've coined it myself the elevated pants trend. For a long time, I think designers' mindsets regarding pants has always been to just sort of stick to or just loosely redesign the tried and tested originals. Save all of those bolder and cool ideas to go on jackets or something like that. Lately, I've been noticing so many brands re-pushing the design of their pants, whether it be interesting shapes or materials, or unique added details or printing techniques. Think Lemaire's twist jeans or Sage Nation box-pleated trousers. House of Errors have done these really cool leather patch melting jeans, which I just think are sick. Going for something loud with your pants has really only been reserved for people who are super into fashion before, I think. Boldest most people would go would probably be the Issey Miyake en plissé trousers. For the past few years, there definitely seems to be a mindset shift towards bolder and more interesting pairs of pants. And this fall, I've seen a lot more cool and unorthodox designs cropping up and being adopted not just by these people who are super into fashion, but the general fashion enjoyers too. It could be something very simple like denim jeans with little pleats on, or even just a simple, very easy to wear print like camo or real trim. On the other hand, there are pieces like Capital's patchwork jeans with embroidery and tie-dye as well. The fact that these are sold out in pretty much every size only really makes me more confident in this whole trend. Acne Studios over the past couple of years has really been pushing their jeans with their printing and their trompe l'oeil, and these again seem to be hugely popular despite being very fashion forward. Obviously, when it comes to pants, you don't have to take it this extreme if you don't want to. The best part I think about this trend is the scope of how you can elevate a pair of pants. You can do something really subtle, or if you want something a bit louder, you can go and grab that as well. I recently picked up an amazing pair of black cords from the brand Haven. Now these definitely look like your typical 5-pocket pant design, but they have a bunch of added details that make them way more functional and elevate them way past your average pair of cords. There's a covered secure zip pocket built into the back yoke, a hidden coin pocket under the waistband where you'll also find 2 snap-line adjusters. The fabric itself is a very narrow whale Japanese corduroy with a beautiful structure, and they're finished with a custom metal shank button and rivets on the front pockets. These are just an incredible pair of elevated cords. I have been wearing them non-stop since I got them. If you're sat there thinking your legwear rotation might need a bit of a refresh, 100% now is the time to do it. So many amazing options out there this fall. Finally for legwear, and this is a bit of a last minute addition to this video, I just wanted to discuss the trend of sweatpants finally being accepted as more than something you just wear to and from the gym. So many guys and girls too are really pushing the versatility of sweatpants, creating some very unique and very interesting outfits, and I think it's just great to see. I've always been a huge fan of sweatpants, whether they're cuffed or uncuffed. They're just so damn comfortable, and I love wearing them in the autumn and the fall. A big part of this wider acceptance though is definitely to do with a much wider array of shoe combinations now being worn. Sweatpants for just the longest time were only really worn with sneakers or runners, but now I'm seeing them a lot with boots, loafers, leather slippers, all types of footwear, and I just really love the contrast going on here. The most popular pair by far are definitely the Uniqlo Pair. I gave these a review earlier in the year, and I remember loving the shape and the fact that they have drawstrings at the ankles so you can wear them cuffed or uncuffed depending on your preference. Fabric definitely wasn't the best from what I remember, but they are a decent entry-level pair if you're just looking to get that look. If you want something way better in every way, way more substantial, I'd highly recommend my aforementioned Scott pairs from Destructive. 600 GSM, lovely drape, they're just so heavy, warm and cozy. I honestly haven't found a pair that even comes close to these, but as always, I'm open to your suggestions. Okay, moving on to footwear now, and straight off the bat, I want to say, as far as I can tell just for the research that I've done for this video, footwear isn't really going to change in terms of what's trending from last fall and winter. It really feels like a refinement season rather than a super big switch up like we had last year. Slim silhouette sneakers are still going to be hugely popular, along with boots and other leather models like loafers, derbies, mules. These will definitely be the main footwear of choice for those deemed most trendy. However, there is a relatively new silhouette making a ton of noise in the footwear space right now, and it is the hiking derby. These are essentially derbies with vintage hiking boot details like rope laces that extend down the vamp along with D-ring lace loops. Kind of hybrid between a derby and a vintage hiking boot, and I think these look so sick. You guys remember all the hype that the Barbour Michaels were getting last year, and to some extent the hype they're getting this year? Well, I could never really get behind that because my favorite Barbour model was always the Clusaz. This absolutely beautiful pair of shoes. As someone who wears derbies 90% of the time, I would say, these just seem like the perfect shoe for me. I would love to get my hands on them, but that price is looking a bit steep right now. They're just the perfect mix of casual details and shape with a high shine black or brown leather, and the best thing is that they're low cut too, so you don't have to waste half your day doing your laces up. It seems plenty of the high street brands have realized how popular this model is going to be this season and have already released their own versions. Arket have their model, which also does look nice for a pretty good price, and COS have gone a bit more fashion forward with this interesting mixed material version. Another pair I want to talk about that are making a bit of noise are the DMA Caranos. These are a bit different, but I still think they fall into that hiking derby category. These are more contemporary hiking style for sure, but again, I love the look of them. Last pair are definitely more of a sleeper pair, and one I've been silently admiring for a long time. High boot lows from South Korean brand Penna. These have definitely been a bit of a if you know you know kind of pair. I have seen them popping up every now and again. These are definitely a bit more fashion forward with the more square toe and just the bulkier shape, but again, beautiful shoes, especially this brown pair. Let's move on because I could talk about these all day. Sorry, one pair I just quickly want to talk about before we move on is the YMC and Grenson Division Oxford. And I mean, just look at how beautiful they are. These really elevate the classic Oxford silhouette to almost make it into something completely different. Feels very contemporary, but still very classic at the same time, almost purpose built for this age of menswear we're currently in. I couldn't not talk about this pair. Okay, we're finally here. We can't talk about men's fashion in the fall and winter without mentioning boots. And the first pair that I want to discuss is the Our Legacy Camion boot. As many of you know, these have been the boots for the past couple fall winters. Finally, I do think the flame is kind of starting to peter out. Not massively, they are still going to be super popular, but this is the first time where I think the oversaturation of them has left a lot of people either looking for alternatives or just straight up disliking them. They've gone from being this really cool sort of niche shape to just the most blatant, obvious boot choice. I've seen them all over my FYP, and I can tell you that is a huge red flag for a lot of fashion MS. If you like the silhouette but you don't want the exact model, so many brands are hopping on this trend and bringing out similar shapes. There's the Stivale from Collegium. I've seen Ronninger doing a pair. Studio Nicholson have their take on it. Personally, I've been eyeing up the 316 slide sit boots. These are a little bit different, which I do like, and they're actually better constructed, being Goodyear welted, which the Camions are not. So guys, are we finally done with the Our Legacy Camion boots? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Timberland boots again, I think are going to be huge this fall and winter. They've had a massive year already, continuing on from last year, and they have some big collabs releasing too this winter with Telfar and Acne Studios.
Their boat shoes are just iconic at this point, and you'll be seeing these a lot too, not just out in the streets, but on this channel as well, as the brand very kindly sent your boy a pair over. Big shout out to Timberland, I cannot wait to put some outfits together with these.
Well, on to sneakers, and other than some new fresh models themselves, like I said, I don't think much is really going to change in terms of what is deemed most trendy in the sneaker space. Sim silhouettes are definitely still dominating alongside hiking inspired shapes. Don't get me wrong, there is a lot of cool stuff coming out. Really, it's just following the same formula that was deemed trendy last year. Notable models I've seen releasing are the new Adidas and Wales Bonner collab. She's releasing another colorway of the Superstar with the cropped leather that was super popular, and new colors of a new model that the fashion girlies have been eating up called the Corintha. New Balance seems to be going all in on the 204L we saw debut earlier in the year with a few new cool metallic colorways. These I definitely think might be a bit of a sleeper pair in the colder, wetter months ahead, but definitely could be huge heading into the warmer weather next year. If you're into your hiking style silhouettes, you probably already know about Margiela's new model for Solomon, the XT MN6. I've seen a lot of people loving these online, and a sleeper pick in this lane, and possibly the first model in this style of shoe that I could actually see myself wearing, a Hoka Stinson Evo in collaboration with Haber. These I think are a great looking pair of hiking shoes I definitely want to get my hands on. Final pair I want to show you guys, and get ready for these. Keep in mind these are a Nike pair of shoes, the Nike and Air Aprique Air Max RK61. These are definitely something. When I first saw these, I absolutely hated this pair, but am I crazy if I kind of like this pair? Oh god. There's so many cool considered touches like the Morse code around the midsole, the lining being the same pattern as the original Air Aprique Airlines plane seats. I guess it's just really great to see a proper sneaker collaboration, you know? I think a lot of people, me included, kind of fell out of love with sneaker collaborations because they were just getting kind of boring and kind of lazy, you know? So to see a brand new silhouette with so many thought out touches, even though you might not like the look of the shoe itself, I think you can still appreciate all of the consideration and all of the thought that went into the creation of this shoe. Okay, finally, to wrap this video up, I just wanted to discuss the trending accessories that I think we'll be seeing a lot this fall. We're now at a point with men's style where outfits without good accessories, I think finally are deemed as kind of dull. Accessories has definitely become something that you have to be paying attention to when it comes to putting together good outfits yourself. And one of the most noticeable accessory trends for this fall has to be the rise of these very slouchy, unstructured leather bags. After years of canvas totes and nylon crossbody bags, it seems the preference towards men's bags has softened and sort of relaxed a little bit. Designer brands, I will say, really seem to be leading the way here. Brands like the Row, Bottega Veneta, and La Mer all offer effortlessly stylish options that feel incredibly modern and elevated. On the lower end, I've seen a version from COS and Missima again showing the quality of their leather goods. I do quite like these bags. I think the right one can definitely elevate a simpler outfit and be practical at the same time. If I didn't already have my leather tote that I love to pieces, I probably would be dipping my toe in it. The next accessory I think are going to be huge: leather gloves. Similar to the pop collar, I've seen these in so many different brands' looks books this season. Like I said, leather is going to be a huge player this fall, and this is just really another facet of its trendiness. You guys might remember ALD releasing those 6 skeleton leather gloves last year. I saw so many people talking about those. The most popular options, as this is still a bit of a bubbling trend, will be your very classic black or brown leather gloves. In terms of brands, I've heard a lot of good things online and from you guys in my comments that Hestra is a great shout. I do have to say they have some great options, but again, COS seem to really be on the ball this season, offering some slightly more affordable but still decent quality options. As someone who definitely feels the cold in their hands in the winter, this is one that I can definitely get behind. And not to mention, I do think they look super stylish when they're styled right. So I'd love to know which of these trends you're really loving this season. Or maybe you just hate all of them and you think some of them are ridiculous. Fair enough, some of them are pretty ridiculous. Either way, let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed though or found this video helpful, make sure to drop a like and subscribe too. 20k will be very soon and I would love to have you along with me on this journey. If you're up to more fashion content from me, YouTube thinks you'll love this video here, so go and check it out. Thanks for watching guys. I'm sorry I didn't upload last week. I just had such a busy week. I've been doing a bit of UGC stuff that I can't really talk about yet. I will see you in the video next week on Sunday as usual. See you then.